See, I don't think Jeremiah's a narcissist. I think he's selfish. I think he's immature. I think he hasn't fully processed the grief of his mother. I think deep down he knows he's in a relationship with a girl who's in love with his brother. Like, so deep down you forget every once in a while. I think he means well, but this man needs time and distance just like Conrad had. He needs perspective. He needs to forcibly be put in a position that requires him to grow up. He needs to take all the things that are going on in his life a lot more seriously than he is. And prioritize the things that are actually important over the things that you want. Like I said in the previous video, I actually liked him in this last episode, except for the moments where he really exhibited this behavior that is very troublesome. Yeah, his credit card is not going to fix all your problems. Before Adam offered to pay for the wedding, the behavior that Jeremiah displayed about that cake was absolutely insane. The way he was so dismissive of the fact that Belly wanted to have the wedding at the cousin's beach house because his dad wanted them to have it at the club. And I hate to say it because a lot of Team Conrads will run with it, but that was emotionally manipulative. You can't keep using your emotional trauma to sway the decisions of people in your life. It's what my mom would have wanted. That's cute the first couple of times, but now it sounds like you're just trying to control every situation by wielding that. Same thing with emotionally manipulating the situation by saying my dad is paying for the wedding and he really wanted it here and we're finally getting along, yada yada yada. That's not what she wanted. That's not what you agreed on. And now you're pivoting things for your own selfish reasons. And that doesn't make him a terrible person. That just means this guy needs help. He needs to work on himself. He certainly should not be getting married. But no, he's not a narcissist. I do not subscribe to that. I don't know if anybody else thought this when they watched this scene, but in the first 4 episodes, we had a few moments with Belly and Conrad. Very few. But each time, they looked at each other like star-crossed lovers. And although us as viewers knew that this was a look of love, every time they looked at each other, it was them loving the other person, not them knowing that the other person felt the same. I think this moment changed that. I think this is the first moment in 4 years where they realized we both feel the same way about each other, and it scared the crap out of Belly. Obviously, we see Conrad after this saying he's gonna walk to the car because Belly goes, I'm gonna get some peaches for Jer, and he's like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? We were not thinking the same thing there. This is not my story, this is Belly and Jer, or something like that. And Belly, we can see her, but he can't. She's visibly uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable because she didn't like it, but because she did. I think this is going to be the beginning of Belly outwardly, but not intentionally, showing affection for Conrad. She's not going to be able to help herself because she knows in this moment, even if she doesn't want to believe it, that he has feelings for her still. This scene changed the course of the rest of the season. Regardless of if you think it's romantic or not, this scene changed everything. Ooh, guys, it's getting juicy. To be honest, I don't care. I do not care what Team Jeremiah thinks about that episode. Jenny Han killed it. She directed that so well. It was cinematic. It was so much different than any other episode we've seen in this show. Conrad's POV painted us a picture of what Conrad and Belly's adult relationship would look like, and it's infinitely better than anything we've seen from Belly and Jeremiah. They're saying all this because they're mad. You could think it's cringy. That's fine. That's literally what we've been saying about Jeremiah from episode 1, literally from season 1, episode 1. I like the guy, but he ran the department of cringe. Team Jeremiah has deluded themselves into thinking we weren't going to come back here. This show is literally a love triangle between 2 brothers. Season 1, they built up Conrad. Season 2, they built up Jeremiah. Season 3, we just thought they were just going to be like, nah, we're going to change what the whole premise of the show is about. If you watch the show with honest eyes, you knew we were going to come back here, and you knew Conrad was probably going to be the end game. If you're a book reader, I'll give you a bit of a pass because maybe they're changing a lot of things and you don't like it, and that's fine. But as viewers of the show, you are being willfully ignorant to the fact that we are here again. I loved hearing Conrad's inner thoughts, and did you peep how he was only talking about how much he loved Belly and how much he wanted to protect his brother? Can't say the same for Jer's POV. Nothing but a negative Nancy when it came to his brother. Trying to compare Conrad to Joe Goldberg is an embarrassing attempt to diminish the greatness of that episode. And Team Jer, you can be as mad as you want. Team Conrad loved it. And unfortunately for you, I'm sure a lot of Team Jeremiah's probably did as well. They might not even be Team Jeremiah anymore. Don't let the crazy Team Jeremiah rage baiters get to you. I've seen some crazy things too. The most egregious take, a girl rewriting the story as if it didn't come out 14 hours ago. You remember what happened, you're just lying. When Conrad and Belly were eating dinner together and she mentioned that the flowers he picked out at Michael's were the same as the flowers that are back at her mom's house, which triggers a memory for him. He thinks back to when he was staying in the guest room and those flowers were in there and he had an intimate moment with Belly. It was their last intimate moment. And she said this makes him look so bad because he's thinking of 16-year-old Belly, knowing full well that Conrad is the man that was with 16-year-old Belly, and he also wasn't 23 at the time. He was 18. And he wasn't just reminiscing on the moment. Something triggered it. Something Belly said. And the person who he had that moment with is the one that triggered it because she said something that reminded him of that moment that he had with her. They were together. Like, what are we doing? Then people will say, why is he thinking about having sex with his brother's fiance? It was his ex-girlfriend. She triggered a memory. You can't help the thoughts that come into your head. You know that. It's rage bait. They have nothing to go on this season when it comes to Conrad, and they hate it. Like, they hear all the things that Conrad was saying in his head in that scene when he was in the guest bedroom. He clearly thinks the world of that girl and is trying to protect her from the pain and reality of what's going to happen to his mother soon. And they try to say he just wanted one last hurrah before he teed it up for her to break up with him. That's what they took from that. But they didn't actually take that, is what I'm trying to tell you. They're making stuff up and trying to rewrite the story to vilify Conrad because they have nothing to go on. Meanwhile, even though I don't think Jeremiah looks that bad, there's obviously a lot of flaws in his character that we saw from season 1 till now that they're just now willing to notice or see. Don't worry. Be happy. This episode was a major win for Team Conrad.
Want you? Of course I do. That night in the motel, I couldn't sleep. I went over and over it in my head. The promise I made to my mom to always take care of Jer. I just want you to know that whatever I said, I didn't mean it. We're cool. We're friends. I did lie to Belly, though. Just that one time. What if I hadn't? Maybe it would all be different now. But it doesn't matter. This is the way it's supposed to be. He can give her all the things that I can't. She deserves that. She deserves the world. She and Jer. That's the reality.
Hey, don't worry about prom. I'm gonna take care of everything. I'm excited.
I know. Hey, Susanna's gonna be fine. I know it.
Back then, Belly still had faith that if you were a good person, bad things wouldn't happen to you. I wanted to talk to her that night, to tell her what was going on, but I didn't want to ruin the part of her that believed everything would be fine.
I'm okay. I'm better with you here.
I wanted her to keep that forever.
Promise you won't let go? Promise.
I'm sure that it's killing Jer not to be here.
Sorry for what? For Conrad dumping you? Did you really not see that coming, Belly? Because I sure did.
Yeah, that was between us.
He couldn't handle it, and he dropped you.
Don't use me to get at him.
Belly, come on.
He's gonna break your heart.
There's no way these two slept together once. There's no way in hell.
I mean, I don't hate being wrong. I don't hate being wrong, but I fucking love being right. Yeah, that's right. I knew it. I knew it.
Y'all, oh my god. Oh my god. This episode is everything. Everything. There are like a couple things that I thought would be in there that aren't. And I'm kind of missing those things. But I'm hoping like they'll maybe be in like later episodes. But oh my god, like kill me. Kill me. I don't know if I can take another however many fucking weeks to see them get their happily ever after. Oh my god. Conrad. Oh, he loves her so fucking much. I can't. And Otis Redding. Ginny. Otis Redding. Not one, but two Otis Redding songs. Otis Redding is in my top 5 artists of all time, if not number 1. And honestly, just the song choices prove how much more care and thought he has for Belly. And they're just like perfect for his old soul. And they're genuine, real love songs. But yes, oh my god, this is what I have been waiting for. Like, yes, keep Jeremiah out of the fucking house. Let me see them fall in love with each other all over again.
I knew it was going to be the best episode I've seen to date from The Summer I Turned Pretty. With the very first song, the very first scene.
Yearning
There was such good music in this episode, and this one is so nostalgic for me as somebody who was obsessed with the Dirty Dancing soundtrack growing up. It's a throwback to Baby and Johnny in the like moment that they first kind of get together, and it's just a beautiful song choice because it's about the yearning, about the love that he can't control under the surface, and it's just a perfect POV song for Conrad. Ultimately, I feel like the whole episode was a masterpiece. Well done, Jenny Han. The direction of his view, like how he sees Belly in every moment is so beautiful. He sees her like Laurel said, Conrad was the son for Belly. Belly is the son for Conrad, and she is, for him, is the ultimate woman for him. And it's just so touching, so heartbreaking, just so beautifully done. I really have no words. I just felt like it was the best episode I've seen in all 3 seasons. It was adapted from the book so well. And that peach scene was literally, I was worried that it would not live up to the standard of the book. And it literally was the exact moment, the exact feeling. I even felt in that moment that it was the most intimate thing I had ever seen. And with them doing nothing but him taking his shirt and wiping it across, that was, I know some people look at that scene and think, how is that so intimate? But when you see it visually, that is such an intimate thing to do to somebody else, because that's not something that just a friend, your brother-in-law, potentially would do to you. That's something that somebody who cares deeply for you, something that your husband would do, somebody that you've been with for a long time, somebody that knows you inside and out. That is such a high voltage moment. And again, that song choice, Wild Horses, perfection. I know people are like harping on the use of Cherry in that one driving song, but for me, it was all the older nostalgic songs, Wild Horses, These Arms of Mine, cover version of the Cranberry song. It was so, so good. And visually, the scenes were done so beautifully. Like, they were just like this romantic, glowing landscape. The camera shots were beautiful. Even after the peach scene, when they get to the house and they walk in and Belly opens the door to the back of the house and you see Conrad just looking at her. It was just so well shot. You get such a wonderful view of how he is looking at her from behind. It's just such a great visual shot of his point of view and his thought process.
But it's not happening again. I'm going to bed.
Such a nice night.
Hey, are you still hungry?
Yeah. Yeah, I could eat.
Conrad is just also unable to stop himself from being there for Belly, for giving her what she needs and wants, even to the detriment of his own feelings, because for him, Belly is everything, and he wants to be there and love her and support her, and he can't see her suffering, hurt, or undersupported. Like, he just wants to be there for her no matter what, even if it's his own detriment. He loves her, he chooses her. It's out of his own volition. His body can't not react to her. She's his one. And then to give us this scene, Jenny definitely pandered to her Conrad and Belly fans, because this was completely out of nowhere. And just, I think, gave us probably a moment, because now I'm thinking we might not get anything else like this later down in the season. At least nothing like this heavy. So I think she gave us like one little juicy moment for us to enjoy. I mean, I hope there's something else, but I don't know. I don't foresee us getting much more than this moment. I could be wrong though. Give us another juicy scene like this later and the final episode, please. I mean, to be that infinity necklace. Yes, please. And I will say that the scene between Jeremiah and Belly on the dock, dancing to the John Travolta and Uma Thurman Pulp Fiction song, that scene, it was very cute. It was cute. I think it was the one cute moment of the whole season that I was like, oh, that's a cute moment. Even though technically it's Belly kind of always pandering to the wishes of Jeremiah and never kind of sticking up for her own wants and needs for the wedding. It was so short. Like, I feel like they didn't show enough of it, in my opinion, but to really hit home how Belly is always kind of giving in to the whims of Jeremiah, even though it's against her own thoughts and wishes. But I guess we are seeing little bits of it in each episode. But she kind of dusted it off and been like, okay, we're going to dance to the song. And it was a cute moment. But again, it was the last dance of the episode. And this episode is called The Last Dance. So I think great choice of episode name, because it's like a dual meaning. Because for Conrad, this feels like the last song and dance for him and Belly before she gets married. But literally, it's the last dance for Jeremiah and Belly. So it was, anyway, well done episode, A+++. These are my first initial thoughts on the whole episode. Please let me know yours.
I don't usually get into the whole ship wars and talk about the reactions of the other side of the fandom because, I don't know, I'm just like a little too grown for that. But also, like, I just don't see what they see, and I've always known that the story is about Belly and Conrad, and I think that both the books and the show have constantly depicted that. And to be honest, I didn't see this as a love triangle when I read the books, so I feel like the show's just made it a bigger love triangle for marketing purposes and storytelling, creativity purposes, and that's been okay. But this whole like character assassination thing is really just people not understanding what it means to take a book and to adapt it into TV. Because when you're reading book 3, all of these things are playing out in the book. You're just getting constant narration from Belly because it's a story, it's a book. And so every few pages, you're getting some inkling that Belly is feeling like, unsure about the situation. She is not happy with something Jeremiah is doing. She's recognizing some incompatibility, right? There's some flaws that she maybe can't see past. But you can't do that same narration on top of a TV show. So in order for the audience to still feel that same way, they have to elevate the situations and the character, right? So you'll have Jeremiah acting even more annoying in certain scenes than he comes across in the book because you don't get the added narration, context. And so everything has to be elevated for TV adaptation. But my thoughts on Jeremiah are the same as they were in the books. If anything, the opinions that I have about show Jeremiah are tainted because of just my own personal opinions about Gavin's acting and his chemistry with Lola just kind of missing the mark for me. And when it comes to this reheating Jeremiah's nachos thing, Jenny is allowed to make creative decisions. She has done this with all the characters. She's taken things away. She's put other things in. She's given something that happened to one character to another. But none of them have been truly significant. And I keep seeing them talking about this bike, the young Conrad bike thing. Oh, Jeremiah and Belly rode bikes. Yeah, they're kids. I'm sure they rode bikes with a lot of different people, a lot of different times. And Belly recalling one memory of riding a bike with Jeremiah does not mean that Conrad can't recall a memory of him riding a bike with Belly. It's his POV. Jenny gave him a new memory that wasn't in the books that I felt was very sweet. And I don't think it changes anything about the story just because Jeremiah doesn't get a flashback scene of him riding bikes with Belly. And if anything, the love story between Belly and Jeremiah is really blown up in the show. Like, they're giving you more than the books because if you recall in the books, Belly rejects him over and over again between book 1 and book 2. And she's not thinking of him romantically. Like, sure, she's talking about how great of a friend he is and how he's always dependable and he's always there. But when he tells her how he feels about her, she is like, I'm not interested in you like that. And what does she do? She immediately runs to Conrad because she's like, Jeremiah is so brave for telling me that. And she tells Conrad, I've been in love with you since I was 10 years old. She finally confesses to him. That's what happens in the books. And only because Conrad doesn't have his shit together and pushes her away throughout book 2 does she decide, yeah, fine, I'll go with Jeremiah. Like, my face was like my jaw was dropped when she was still with Jeremiah in book 3 for as long as she was, because there is no love story really depicted between her and Jeremiah. It's all rooted in friendship. And that's the story. The cool thing about having a book to screen adaptation is that you can expand awareness on characters that were not really able to get, fully well-rounded, especially in a single point of view book. These books are told from Belly's perspectives, but we are watching all the characters. Now we get to see Conrad's interactions with Laurel. We could not see that in the book. So she's allowed to make creative decisions to make characters good, bad, otherwise. And that is what she's doing because this is her world. This is her characters. And so I just think it's so annoying that I have to sit here and listen to people complaining about a story that was never theirs to be told anyways.
Spoilers for season 3, episode 5 of the Summertime Pretty. I just want to say that was a roller coaster of emotions. This episode just reinforced the feeling I've had this whole show from season 1, episode 1 till now. How can you be on Team Jeremiah? Am I saying he's a villain? Am I saying he's a bad person? No. But what show are you watching? What show are you watching? What is going on here? You're rooting for Belly and Jeremiah? Funny thing is, at the beginning of this episode, I was kind of nervous because Belly and Conrad's interactions were super awkward and uncomfortable, but I think that was intentional. Obviously, Conrad's actively trying to avoid her at every waking moment, and Belly's trying to push down all the feelings that she has for him as if they're not there. But they are, and it's so obvious. Based off this scene, the feelings from both of them have always been there. So those who only liked it when she turned pretty, allegations gotta go. At least for one of the Fisher brothers. They played Cherry by Harry Styles, and I don't know if you know the lyrics of the song, but it's "Don't you call him baby, we're not talking lately. Don't you call him what you used to call me. And don't you dare, Belly." Watching Conrad be in excruciating pain because of the decisions that he made that he thought were right to protect his brother, to be there for Belly because he always wants to make sure everyone else is okay, because he made a promise to his mom in that scene with his mom. I'm not ready. I didn't cry, but did I want to? Absolutely. I wanted to be with the girls. I wanted to bawl my eyes out because what the heck do you mean? Chris killed that. Just in case you wanted to relive that trauma. I didn't need this scene to let me know that Conrad did what he did in the season 2 finale because he was trying to be there for Jer and Belly, but it was nice to have it spelled out for the viewers that didn't know what was going on. I also have many more thoughts, and don't worry, I will let you know, but comment below what your thoughts are because this episode was probably my favorite of the whole series, but maybe it's recency bias.
This episode was crazy. I have so many thoughts. I'm making so many different videos. I will probably be posting them all throughout this week because there's so much to talk about. So for now, I'm going to talk about just some quick little throwaway things that don't take an entire video. Can we talk about this parallel? When Conrad at the final scene says, "This is the way it's supposed to be," when he's talking about Belly and Jeremiah. From the trailer, Belly's voiceover, when she's talking about Jeremiah, "He's my future. This is the way it's supposed to be." Both of them don't think they deserve each other, and I want to scream. These two are so in sync because Conrad says, "She and Jer, that's the reality. Dreams aren't real, but you're real, Jer." They are living in a delusional mind space. And then, of course, we get Wild Horses playing at one point, and it says, "I know I've dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Time is running out for Conrad on this dream that they're both chasing." It was a really nice touch that they had 2 songs playing both when Jeremiah and Belly were together and Conrad and Belly were together that used very Paris themes in their lyrics, which is indicating a little foreshadowing there that Belly's going to go to Paris to get her clarity, to chase her dream. I liked this switch up from the books. In this scene, Belly says, "Hey, yeah, we can actually dance to the Pulp Fiction song, the Chuck Berry song that you wanted." And she starts getting up and, dancing to it. And in the books, they kind of have a little argument about it. And so here, it's just Belly giving in. She's just "Fine, we can do this." But it's important that she's doing it because it shows that her day with Conrad really affected her. And there's so many examples of how it affected her. But in this moment, she's just "Let's pretend like that never happened. I'm just going to let Jeremiah have everything he wants because I feel guilty." She feels so guilty in this moment for all of her feelings today that she's just going to give him the first dance song, despite the fact that she does not want to dance to this song. I will probably talk a lot about Belly and Conrad in future videos, but I do want to just briefly talk about this scene because I really, really liked it. Not only do we have Conrad actually being able to tell Belly the truth and feeling comfortable, not being this hero that he tries to pretend like, you know, everything's perfect with him all the time. He was vulnerable in this moment, so snaps, that was great. But also, I loved how Belly was like, well, Jared told me this. Like, she remembered every detail that Jared has ever told her probably about Conrad because it's the only way she gets information about him. And so she says, you know, most first years take the summer off before coming back anyways. And so she's trying to, like, tell him, like, it's okay that you got fired from your first year med school job, which it totally is. And then she says, you are right where you're supposed to be, which is foreshadowing, my friends, foreshadowing, because he is in the car with Belly. He is here in Cousins with Belly. That is right where Conrad's supposed to be. So it's a double meaning, and it is 100% foreshadowing. I also love that they talk about his hero complex, and we can contrast that to the inferiority complex and how Jeremiah reacted about that. But Conrad's like, yeah, you're actually probably right, Belly. I should probably spend some time on that because he knows she's right and he's admitting it. He's admitting that she's right in that moment, and it's something he needs to work on, which I found to be just very grown of them. They've come a long way. I will probably be yapping nonstop about this all day. I'm working on a few videos to talk about movie parallels and just some symbolism that I saw throughout the episodes, some Easter eggs and stuff. But this is just my quick rapid fire 4-minute debrief on this episode. For Conrad, Belly is the sun. She was golden throughout this entire episode, just like I knew she would be. Because I've been saying it since the moment the teaser dropped, that the song choice of Red going into Daylight was not about Conrad versus Jeremiah. It has always been Belly's story. Because the song Red by Taylor Swift is a reflection song on an all-consuming kind of love. It's her naive depiction of love that she used to think that it had to be burning red, that it had to be so many highs and so many lows, and it was like a toxic like love, right? Like constantly just being tied to this person and all your emotions are just wound up in them, right? And that's how Belly originally loved Conrad. And it's also in a way how she's loving Jeremiah right now. Although they're not experiencing all these emotional highs and lows because Belly is kind of catering to Jeremiah's needs, there's still a lot of physical displays of affection that are just all consuming, and she's fantasizing like every moment with Jeremiah to be like this soulmate love. She still has not grown enough to understand what real love looks like. When Taylor wrote Daylight, she had matured a lot since Red, and she was reflecting in that song about all the types of love that she had throughout the years, now being in a long-term relationship with somebody who was calm and steady. She wasn't feeling all of those, you know, highs and lows of the Red romance anymore, but that didn't mean that it wasn't true love. And so she flipped the script on the narrative of what it meant to be in love. I don't need constant butterflies. I don't need to scream and yell at my partner every day to feel something. Like, I can just sit with them in the calm of the daylight and just be comfortable with this person. So it's a reflection song about growing up and realizing like what it truly means to be in a healthy love. And that's about Taylor. She's talking about herself having these thoughts of a Red love. It's not about Joe. It's not about, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal. It's about Taylor and how she chose to love in the past and how she wants to love now. And so that's what Belly is learning. She's learning what it means to truly be in love with somebody, and that it is calm, it's simple, it's going to Michael's, it's just hanging out at Christmas, doing a crossword and watching movies together. It is a simple thing that doesn't have to be painful, and it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of making out all the time, right? It's just the small little moments in time. So yeah, Conrad thinks that Belly is a golden kind of love. And Belly hasn't figured that out yet. Give her some time, but she will realize that being with Conrad is also a golden daylight kind of love. And she will leave her burning red, you know, depiction of love in the past and move on to a more mature mindset of what it means to truly be in love with somebody.